Hi, my name is Shelly and welcome to my Christmas vlog. I just finished filming my November wrap-up and I'm like sweating to death in this sweater, so I'm just going to quickly give an update and change. So I took a week off of making content and making vlogs. I did film part of a vlog for the Sunlit Man and the Songbird and a Heart of Stone, and it was very apparent while I was editing those videos that I just didn't want to be behind the camera, and I was actually approaching a reading slump, and it was very obvious in the videos, so I decided to scrap the whole video and give myself a break, which I'm super happy that I did, because I was able to kind of focus on myself and focus on what I want to read. So this is going to be a fun Christmas theme book, and honestly, Christmas is one of my favorite times of the year. I love getting totally wrapped up in the season, watching as many Christmas movies as I possibly can. Unfortunately, it's not snowing here yet. Maybe at the end of December, we will see. But right now, it's looking pretty ugly outside, so it's probably going to be mostly indoor shots you're going to see. So this vlog is going to feature at least 2 books, and the first book being Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I actually already started, and I read the prologue, and I really enjoyed it. I mentioned this in my December TBR video, where I feel like contemporary romance books just scream Christmas or holiday season, and honestly, I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book, and it's about enemies to lovers, and we all know how much I love my enemies to lovers. So I'm going to be reading this physically. So this is book number 1. Book number 2 is, oh, I forgot it over there. Book number 2 is The Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I don't know why, I really wanted to squeak this in by the end of the year, and that is fast approaching. So I will be reading this via audio. I think I'm doing the graphic audio, and it is a very beefy book, like beefy. There may be other books that kind of squeak in if I can fit them into the vlog, because usually I do my vlogs for like 2 weeks. Not to mention, Wind and Truth comes out in like literally 7 days when I film this. By the time this comes out, it's already come out. So I do need to read that as well. So I'm kind of like shooting myself in the foot by reading this big chunker, following up by Wind and Truth. But so with all that said, I will check back with you in a little bit with my thoughts on these 2 books. These 2 very different books. I'm just sitting down to edit right now. I'm eating my homemade banana bread. Don't mean to toot my own horn, but I'm really good at making banana bread. It's delicious. And of course, since it's the morning, I have to have my coffee. There's nothing special about it. It's just regular old drip coffee. I have a really busy day ahead of me. Like, we just got our fake Christmas tree. Originally, we were going to get a real tree, but then the place that we get our real tree from is closed for renovations. And we waited too long, so the selection is not so great, even though it's not even December yet, but that's just, people get ready soon around here. So we got a tree from Costco, and I'll show it to you later. And anyways, I have to decorate it while the kids are not home, because I like my tree looking a certain way, and they like their tree looking a certain way, so I like to do it my way first, and then they can add their like specialized ornaments, which we get every year. So I'm editing right now, and actually editing videos is probably one of my favorite things about making YouTube content. Like, I love it so much. The one thing I hate though is making thumbnails. I loathe making thumbnails. It is probably the last thing that I always do, and I hate it so much. I don't know why. I never know which pictures to choose. I never know what font to choose or color. It's like so many decisions that my brain just goes poof. And then usually I'm not satisfied with the end result. So yes, I'm editing my November wrap up right now, and hopefully that will be out early next week, because right now is the 29th of November. And yes, I did film my video a little early, but I'm not going to be finishing any books before tomorrow. So I'm going to give you a quick reading update, because that's what we're all here for. I started Iron Flame yesterday, and I had a ton of chores to do. I'm listening to the audiobook, and I had a ton of chores to do. So I managed to put in probably about a 3-hour dent in the audiobook. And the audiobook is crazy huge. It's like 30 hours long or 28 hours long. Like, I didn't realize that when I picked it up. So I'm like, wow, fuck. I was planning to read more in this vlog, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this audiobook, read a physical book, and then start another book. So that's where I am. I started at 3 hours in. I like this world. I really do. But as for plot, we're kind of really literally picking up where book 1 left off. And even though I read this book like 2 months ago, I'm still like, wait, what happened? I have a terrible memory for books. Mainly because I read one book after another and I never actually let the books sink in. So yeah, the first couple chapters I'm like, oh yeah, that happened. Oh, that's that person. I honestly thought book 2 was going to completely go a different direction, but it's kind of going a direction I didn't think of. I'm still okay with it, but it's got a very interesting twist to it right now. I can't say much about the book, obviously the plot, because I don't want to do spoilers, but I forgot how brutal this world is. Like, brutal. Don't get attached to characters, because Rebecca Yarros is like the romantasy version of George R.R. Martin. Like, she will kill off any character and it will break your heart. So yeah, already I'm like, wow. So that's where I'm just gonna leave that. I'm only like 20% in, and already I'm like scared for some of these characters, because I've actually grown attached to a lot of her friends, and yeah, so I'm scared. But that's my quick update. I am gonna continue editing, and then I will start doing my Christmas tree. So I will put that footage in, and I'll see you in a bit. The fun thing about this tree, well, fun for my kids, not so much me because I kind of hate it, is that it has this little teeny weeny remote, and you can change the colors. I actually don't like color lights, especially when there's blue. For some reason, blue Christmas lights depress me or make me feel lonely. I just don't like it. So I'm gonna put it back to that. I just realized that my husband's birthday thing is right there. Oh my god, take that down. Just wanted to show you my Jack Skellington that he's gonna go on my bookshelf. I got this from Disney World and I love it so much. He's so soft and cute. So I'm gonna find a place for him on my bookshelf. I apologize for the sound. I am actually in my bathroom filming through my iPhone, so if the sound sounds weird, you know why. So I have a couple of updates for you, and I thought, you know, might as well do my makeup and kind of show you guys what realistically it looks like to be in your middling years, and how skin is absolutely just unfair, because, you know, in my 20s, or in my teens and my 20s, I had really bad acne, and then I still get like really blotchy skin, and then now my skin is starting to get wrinkly. But since I don't have thousands and thousands of dollars to spend on Botox, this is just the face that I'm stuck with. So I'm going to appreciate it, because one day down the line, I'm going to be like, what a fool that stupid girl was, thinking that she was so old then, when really she was still young. So I mean, I think we need to all kind of live in the moment every once in a while, and just kind of accept the fact that aging is a natural part of life. Anyways, that's my mom moment. I'm gonna stop right there. My husband left early in the morning at like 4 o'clock in the morning to go to Montreal, so he flew to Montreal, which is like not far, but you know, it's far enough that you have to take a plane. So he is gone, and since he was up early in the morning, so was I, so I'm a little tired today, and he will be gone for 3 days, which sucks. I absolutely hate it when he's gone. It just doesn't feel right at home. I'm independent, but I like having him there, if it makes sense. So yeah, so he's gone. He will be gone until Wednesday, and today's Monday. But because he's gone, I will have more time for reading. All right, let's do an update. So the first update is, okay, which one should we do first? Okay, let's do Iron Flame first. So I'm about 50% the way through the Iron Flame audiobook, and I am liking it. I'm not loving it as much as the first one, but honestly, compared to some of the other romantasy series I've been reading, and compared to even some fantasy series I've been reading, the world building in the series is just so good. Like, it is so good, especially in this one. It just gets bigger and bigger, and you learn more about it. And honestly, it's so good. And I kind of am surprised because I've heard a lot of people saying that the world building is garbage, but I'm like, this is a pretty cool world. There's a lot of lore, there's a lot of history, there's a lot of different creatures, and every creature is like has like certain personalities and certain traits, and I really do like all of that. So I'm just gonna pause here while I do my eyeliner because it's a little hard. So I use this, like, I don't know, rusty color, I guess. I have blue eyes, so it's a really great way to make blue eyes stand out. It says rusty color first, and then I'll show you what I use second. And then I follow it up with a brown. So just typical brown. So kind of makes my eyes pop a little bit more. I can't remember what this is called, but it's basically for like discoloration. Obviously you can see which one I use the most. This is for like bags, so under my bags. So I love this stuff. It's like the only thing that really works to get rid of my bags. Fortunately, my bags are hereditary, so I've had them since I was like a teenager, and I can't get rid of them, so it is what it is. All right, let's get back to Iron Flame. There's some drama in here, and it's like, I kind of hate it because like, I hate the miscommunication trope. Like, I really do dislike it. I feel like there's so many other creative ways to create tension or create more of like an intrigue and plot than there is of like, yeah, just like miscommunication. And this one is just, okay, so I'm gonna give like mild spoilers in about 5 seconds, and then I'll put a tag down below where you can skip it if you haven't read Iron Flame. Okay, spoilers now. So essentially, Violet is pissed off at Xaden because he hid some stuff, because he is obviously running this rebellion. So he's been hiding a lot of things, and he said flat out, this has nothing to do with me. This has nothing to do with you. It's because I'm holding other people's secrets and it's not my own. If I could tell you, I would. And she's all like, oh, if you love me, then you'll tell me. I don't know why I'm sounding like that. She's like, oh, but if you love me, you know, you would tell me your secrets, and you've hid so much from me. And yeah, he did. But I mean, like, honestly, they were like enemies up until like the very end of the book. So it's like, is it really that surprising that he hid that much from you? And then like, literally like in the first, I don't know, couple of chapters, she's hiding things from her friends. Like literally, her friends are like, what's up with you? And she's like, nothing, everything's fine. She's such a hypocrite, and like refusing to be in a relationship with him because of that. And yet she's doing the exact same thing to like the people that are closest to her. So it's just like, ugh, I hate that shit. And what was the other thing I wanted to talk about? I really should have wrote it down. Oh, okay. The other thing is, like, after the events of the last book, the huge events at the end, I'm like, there's no way that they're going back to school. And they go back to school, and I'm like, what the fuck? Are you trying to get yourself killed? And you know, stuff happens. I also have a bad feeling for the ending. I have a bad feeling, and if I'm right, I will confirm that with my final update later. I would show you what makeup I'm using, but honestly I use like pharmacy drugstore makeup because like I said before, I'm cheap. Okay, so Book Lover. So yes, I put a massive dent in Book Lover last night. I actually stayed up far later than I really should have. I read probably about 100 pages yesterday, and I really like it. Like, it's a lot of fun. I do like the whole, it's like a Hallmark movie, but it knows it's a Hallmark movie, and it's kind of taking that trope and kind of expanding on it a little bit. So I really do enjoy that. I love our main character. Like, she has my heart. Like, everything that she goes through, I completely understand. Also, her little sister, so annoying. I don't like her at all. Like, she's just like, oh, she's my sunshine. I'll do anything for my little sister. What are their names? Nora and Lily? Libby. Nora and Libby. So Nora's the main character and Lily is the little sister. And Lily is like pregnant right now. So And it is because of Lily that Nora is now in the situation that she's in, because she wants to make her little sister happy, and her little sister obviously doesn't give a shit about her. She's just worrying about herself. And there's obviously something going on with her sister in her personal life and whatever. But the story's not about, it is about them, but it's also about, it's like kind of enemies to lovers. In the prologue, she meets an editor from another company, and right off the bat, they had like the worst meeting. They hated each other. It was just a bad meeting. And then time passes. I think it's like 2 years or something passes. And then she like bumps into him on her like vacation. I love their relationship. Like the main guy, oh God, what's his name? Something. Charlie. Charlie is just like a very straightforward, kind of antisocial guy, but you can kind of tell that there's more to him than meets the eye. And Nora is very jaded, so she thinks like the worst in people. So she thought the worst in him. And then they're obviously kind of getting to know each other because they are in the small town together. And it's cute. Like their banter is really cute, but also at the same time, I'm kind of getting tired of their quick-witted banter. I'm like, nobody talks like that. Although I am enjoying it, I am very, very tempted to just skip to the ending. So yeah, I'm at the point where I'm like, they're kind of starting to get to like each other, and I'm like, okay, good. Now can we skip to the end? So I don't know. I mean, I really am trying contemporary romance, but I'm thinking that I'm just not a contemporary romance person. I don't know. I'm gonna do my mascara. All right, I'm all done. Ready for the races, as my boomer dad says, and I will check back with you guys in a couple days. So we're in my basement right now, and I thought it'd be fun to sit in front of the fire while doing this update, but then I realized that like my ring light is totally reflected off of this, so I'm gonna have to have a clip of the fire later. When we first did our basement, we were here all the time, but now since my kids have like pretty much taken over the basement, we're rarely in here, but it's such a beautiful space that I wish it was like our main living room, but alas. She's my Otis. My old man Otis. No, say hello. It's like my favorite thing to watch around the holiday season, and that is a Norwegian show. I think it's Norwegian show called Home for Christmas. And it is about a nurse who is like, I guess, like reaching the point of her life where she's like, she should be settling down and getting married and having children, but she has had a lot of failed relationships. So it's really just like her journey trying to find a boyfriend. And I love it. Like there's 2 seasons out, and actually it was announced that there's a 3rd season coming out, and I'm so excited. So I'm rewatching that. If you need a pure cozy holiday show to get you in the holiday spirits, watch it. It's on Netflix. It's so good. I guarantee you'll just feel like a warm blanket hug. I love it. So that's my media update. Since we last spoke, I finished Book Lover by Emily Henry, and I have some like mixed feelings. Okay, so I really liked it. I like Emily Henry's writing. I liked the story. I liked the characters. I liked the romance. The romance was really cute and very touching, and I liked how they kind of both went into like past trauma and, you know, helped each other out with like that. I loved all that. But this book was really long. Towards like the middle to the end, I was really forcing myself to read it. It's not that I didn't enjoy it. It's just that like for me, who is not a contemporary romance person, it's a really long book. The middle part, I was really pushing through, and then just to get to the end. And I got to the end, and I was satisfied with the ending, and I really did like the book, but again, it was too long for me. So this is coming from a person who watches a lot of K-dramas, like a lot of K-dramas. And I'm the type that will usually, not always, skip the middle episodes because those are like the filler episodes. I like watching the beginning, you know, up until the characters start liking each other. And then there's like these, like, I guess, batch of like 3 to 4 episodes where it's just literally filler. And I skip those and I go to the ending. And I kind of felt like this book did the same kind of thing. Like, I felt like I could have skipped the last maybe 150 pages and still kind of got the gist of what the book was about. So with that said, I think I'm still going to give this book 4 stars because when I was enjoying it, I really was enjoying it. It's just, I think it's just a me problem. So I think that the book really does deserve 4 stars at this point. I'm almost done the audiobook for Iron Flame. I have about 2 hours left. So today is Wednesday and I would like to finish it today. So I'd like to get another audiobook squeaked in before I start Wind and Truth, realistically on Saturday or Friday. I'm not sure what I'm going to start at, but yes, so I want to squeak in a audiobook in between those. I have an audiobook in mind, but I will talk about that later on once I finish Iron Flame. So Iron Flame, I'm really liking it. I don't think I like it as much as the first one because I feel like we're kind of going in circles when it comes to the plot. Like, I feel like it's just repeating the same things and there's not a lot of progression. So this is kind of a spoiler, but not really. But if you're sensitive about it, I will put a timestamp down below. But there is a character that was introduced in this book, and this character is literally there to make Violet's life a living hell. And she's like one beat, one-dimensional character that is just like, ugh, I hate her so much. And I guess that's the point. But I hate when it's like a mustache twirling female rival almost. And I'm just like, ugh, I just, you know, I get it. But at the same time, I'm like, blow her up. But obviously that's not going to happen. I really do hope that they kind of like bond in some way, but I have a feeling to keep drama that that's not going to happen. The one thing I really do like about this book is that they really examine Violet and Xaden's relationship and the fact that they have a lot of flaws, especially when it comes to communication issues. And towards the end of this book, they both acknowledge that they need to work on this relationship. And I think that that is a very important thing for characters to talk about, is the fact that they have issues in their relationship and they need to work on it in order to make their relationship stronger, in order to trust one another a little bit better. And communication is so important. So I really did like the fact that Rebecca Yarros brought that up and kind of talked about it a bit. So I like that. So that's my update for now. It is getting really hot sitting in front of this fire, so I'm going to check back with you guys in a little bit. I did my makeup in dark lighting because I really went crazy with the pink today. Quick update. So it snowed last night. So we have a ton of snow outside. It is a winter wonderland. So it's kind of perfect for this Christmas vlog. I honestly didn't think that we were going to get snow this time, but we did, so lucky. Also kind of unlucky because it's cold and gross outside. I didn't really have a lot of time to do an update, but I wanted to do an update while thoughts are still fresh in my mind. So please ignore the bad lighting and the fact that I don't have my mic on me right now. My voice just cracked. So I finished Iron Flame last night. And I take back what I said about the communication thing. I was complimenting it and saying that I enjoyed it. Literally, after I finished filming that and I continued listening to the audiobook, after the conversation that they had, they went right back to it. And it was like going in circles. And I'm just like, oh my God, I don't care anymore. Could you guys just get over your shit and learn to act like adults in a relationship? Because apparently you guys are adults. And then there was like this whole scene where they were talking about how important they are to each other. And just the stuff that they were saying, I'm like, oh, it was so corny and over the top. I feel like the rose-colored glasses were like lifted from my vision. And I felt like the last part of the book was very sloppy. Like the first half of the book was really good. It was really decent. And then the last part, everything just kind of fell apart. Everything happened all at once. It seems like Rebecca Yarros was like writing the book and had the ending in mind. And then the publisher is like, but we need this book to be released now. And she's like, oh, okay. And then quickly wrote whatever to fill in the gaps, but it was just rushed. And the ending was supposed to be very impactful. And it was a little bit, but at the same time, I'm like, it was being built up. It was being built up since the middle part of the book. And it was so obvious that that's what was going to happen. So I was like not shocked by it by any means. But yeah, like, I don't know. I'm really hoping that is just like middle book syndrome, and Onyx Storm is much better because, yeah, I was kind of disappointed. And I now understand why a lot of people said that the first book was better than the second book and why they preferred the other one. I do also understand why people say that they like them equally. It's like a personality thing, right? It depends on what you like. Personally, I think that it was rushed. And I think that if Rebecca Yarros had a little bit more time, I think it would have been a really great book. But yeah, because it was rushed, because they pushed the publication date sooner than they really should have, because they wanted to still ride the wave of Fourth Wing, I was just kind of left very disappointed. But also, I'm very curious to see what happens. I really hope that they kind of get rid of the whole school setting in Onyx Storm, because I feel like at this point in the story, it's no longer necessary. But that's just my own personal thoughts. So yeah, unfortunately, I didn't love this book, and I think I'm only gonna give it like 4 stars, maybe even 3.75. I'm so sorry if I disappointed you by not loving this book as much as I wanted to, but I have high hopes for Onyx Storm, so I'm still excited. So I have a couple more days before Wind and Truth comes out, so I need an audiobook to kind of fill in the gap. So I decided to pick up Lady of Darkness, and I can't remember the name of the author. I'll put it all right here. But essentially, this is an audiobook. This is a romantasy. I believe it's a KU romantasy as well. And the only reason I picked it up is because I had the audiobook available to me through my library. So I grabbed it. I've only listened to like the first 3 chapters. And oh, it's off to a really rocky start. I'm going to give this book the benefit of the doubt because I do know romantasy series, when it's like a debut author, their first book is usually pretty clunky. They're kind of getting their footing, kind of figuring out their own voice, kind of figuring out how they want to get their idea on page. And I totally understand that. So I'm going to give this book the benefit of the doubt. But right now, the main character, Scarlet, is like a Chihuahua or like a Pomeranian. All bark, no bite. Everything she says is just so aggressive, like, I'm so badass. And she's just so like confrontational that it's just like, oh my God. She's like a one-note character. And in the first 2 chapters, she's like got into an argument with like 4 different people. Okay, so this may be like mild spoiler alert, or if you just don't care. But so yeah, she takes this medication. And in the same chapter, you find out that she doesn't know who her father is. Also that there are fae. So it's like, weird medicine, doesn't know who her father is. Obviously she's fae, and she's probably like the princess or the daughter of a king that's like whatever. So it's just like, yeah, okay, I get it. She's special. And it's just, yeah, right now I'm kind of just holding on for waiting for it to get a little bit better, waiting for her to be a little bit more of a 3-dimensional character. So I'm going to the store right now, and I'm going to be listening to the audiobook of Lady of Darkness, and I have a bunch of chores, so I will be getting a lot of audiobook time later. So I will check back with you in a little bit. My kids are Gen Alpha, and they're teaching me all their weird lingo, and honestly, their lingo is just so stupid. It's so stupid. It's all like YouTube and video game references. So like some of the things they say, I'm just like, okay, whatever, skibbity toilet. What the hell does that mean? I don't know. But that is a Grizzy. Every year we pick out a specialty ornament, and that's my son's. So Grizzy. Since we last spoke, I got through a bunch of the audiobook of Lady of Darkness. Everything about it is like thrown a glass. Like the characters, the world building, even like the characters' like career. I find that really kind of funny that so many books, and I mean so many books, pull from Sarah J. Maas's books. Like their world inspiration, their character inspiration. So I have a theory/question. And my question, I guess, would be to the people that their favorite series is ACOTAR or Throne of Glass. And my question is, was that your first series in either the romantasy genre or even fantasy? Because I know a lot of people were introduced to fantasy by like ACOTAR, I believe. And my theory is that usually the first thing that gets you into something, like the first movie that gets you into like fantasy, or the first book that gets you into fantasy, or the first band that gets you into a certain genre, like those are usually your favorites because they're the ones that introduced you into that world. So my theory is kind of like a lot of people started with Sarah J. Maas because she is so popular, therefore she is instantly a favorite because they have such a nostalgic feeling for them. And the reason why I say that is because she was not my first, that sounds so wrong, romantasy wasn't a thing then, but she wasn't my first romantic fantasy author, nor was she my first fantasy author. I really liked those books when they came out, I really did, but I wasn't obsessed with them like a lot of people. I feel like even these authors that are pretty much inspired by her, I think that they are inspired by her because she was one of the first authors that they read from. Comment down below, let me know your thoughts, like if it is your first and that's what got you into it and that's why you think you love it, or you think I'm completely nuts. So I probably listened to about 3 hours of the audiobook. I'm struggling with the audiobook, and I'm not sure it's because I'm just not feeling the story or not, but like I'm actually struggling to like understand what the fuck's going on and why I should be caring, because like the way that we're given information is very, I don't want to say confusing because it's not confusing. It's very jarring. Like it's not smooth. And because of that, you can kind of tell that it is a self-published book. I feel like it has potential to be a really great story, but man, does it ever need editing. And I do realize that a lot of people love this, and I know from experience, because I also have experienced this as well, where you read the first book and you're very underwhelmed, and then you read the second book and you're like, oh my God, I love this series so much. So I totally understand that. So I don't know. Right now, I'm kind of like leaning towards DNFing the series, but I have heard everybody just talking about how much they love this series, and even the sequel series that is coming out is like getting a lot of praise. So I really kind of want to continue on, at least finish the first book and like get my final thoughts. But yes, like I said, I don't know if it's the audiobook, but I'm having a lot of trouble focusing on this book and what the fuck's going on. There's so many plot points around the main character Scarlet. Like there's so many. And I'm not joking. And it's like, I'm not even like 100 pages in. Because of that, I think I decided that I'm going to pick it up physically and I'm going to read the ebook through KU. And since I'm going to do that, I'm going to start Wind and Truth today. So I have to catch up on my YouTube watching. I'm very behind in watching all my favorite YouTubers because they've been putting out a lot of content and I have not been watching videos. I'm so sorry, my friends, but I am going to be doing that today, and I'm also going to be watching a bunch of videos like recapping and kind of talking about Stormlight so I can pick up Wind and Truth this afternoon. So yes, I will check back with you in a bit. Do you like my Christmas mug? I don't even know where I got this, but it was in my Christmas box, so I'm totally using it. It's kind of tacky, but it's cute. Anyways, okay, so it's been a couple days since my last update. This weekend was crazy busy. My son's birthday party was this weekend. We went to a trampoline park, which was insane, and I had a panic attack there because there were so many freaking kids, and I was looking after 11 kids that weren't my own, so I'm sure you can hear the panic in my voice. Anyways, so yesterday I just need to decompress and calm down after that, so I wasn't able to film any updates since, I think, Thursday. Or Friday, I can't remember. I think it was Friday. I don't know. So I have an update. So I started Wind and Truth on Friday. I'm listening to the audiobook. It's going to be very interesting because my husband and I are both going to be reading this. And we're both going to be listening to the audiobook. So I think we've decided to like get different bookmarks and kind of mark where each other's reading. But right now, I'm the only one who's actually listening to it. So I think I'm on chapter 10 right now. And I just have to say, like, the papers are like Bible papers. They are so thin. It's crazy. Because, I mean, like, look at the size of this. Like, judging by this, it's like, oh, yeah, it's a big, thick book. But it's like, oh, my gosh. It's over 1,300 pages long. Like, and the font is pretty small. So my gosh, Brandon Sanderson, my first impression is like goosebumps. I started it and it was like as soon as Michael Kramer started talking, I got like my hair on my arm just stood this tall. Well, not this tall because maybe this tall, but yeah, like it was like coming back home after being away for so long. I'm slowly reading this. I know a lot of people have probably already finished it by the end of the weekend, but I really want to savor this because who knows how long it's going to be until Stormlight 6 is out. So yeah, I'm savoring this while I can because it's going to be a while. My second update is I did pick up Lady of Darkness, the ebook, and I am happy to report that the ebook is working so much better than the audiobook. I'm not saying that the audiobook narrator was bad. I'm just saying that for me, it just didn't work. And having that world read in my own head with my own voices in my own head, it works so much better. It is kind of clunky still. There was one part where a character was kind of talking about his backstory, and it was very info dumpy. Coming from like a Sanderson book to this book, it's hard not to notice that sometimes it's better to take time to slowly give information instead of just dumping it because you want to keep the reader's attention. And personally speaking, I prefer small tidbits every once in a while so you can kind of collect the story yourself. I do have to say that I stayed up late last night reading this book, so obviously I'm enjoying it enough to keep going on. But like I said before, it is the first book, so I'm really hoping that by the time the second book comes around, or by the time I get to the second book, I should say, that it'll take on more of its own personality, kind of separate itself and become its own thing. So that's my hope. Even though I started 2 new books, I do feel like right now is the best time to end the vlog. So if you managed to make it all the way to the end, please leave a hot dog emoji for the Grizzy that I mentioned before. I really appreciate everybody who has taken the time to watch and subscribe and like my videos. You guys are so amazing. Thank you so much. And as always, you can find my socials down below. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye!